Thank you, and thank you, Sanket, for inviting me here and for all the words of welcome and more. And this is, much has been said on the subject, and I'm no expert on the subject, but I was just reminded of this whole journey years ago. Decades ago, we used to use something called WordPerfect, and Microsoft Word was not there. And I remember a discussion then. My brother is also a computer engineer, and he says, there's nothing new about this product. And that's what everybody back then said, except that it's got a very nice graphic user interface. And actually, the functionalities of the other products are far superior. And that became the whole MS Office suite, and that is how, that whole entity came. We all know what happened with Apple, first as a product, Apple products, Macintosh and other devices, later the whole generation of iPod and everything. Everybody knows that Steve Jobs always put a high premium on design, on things like fonts and everything. And what was all that design all about? It was also about user journey, user experience. You look at Google, the Google search bar, which is the best possible design and which is a far cry. I've got lots of my colleagues from the government here present in the room. And anytime I look at a website, my whole thing is, that's what a website should be like. You go to a search bar and that's all that there is. And we've tried to initiate people into that idea with the digital brand identity manual released very recently, just some months ago, to all of you. And I'm told the chief information officers of the ministries are also here, the CIOs, although of course that is yet to pan out, except some ministries. So we see, as Devjani said, we see clutter, or when any user goes there, we see clutter. We don't see a journey, we see information, and we are left to figure it out. And that is not a good user experience. You go to all the other big and successful technological digital enterprises in the world, be it FB, Insta, Twitter, all of them are all riding on UX. It's not the success of the functionalities that we create, it's the success of the user experience, the satisfaction of it, which determines the success of a digital initiative. That is axiomatic, and that is what I would like all of you to carry back with you, in particular my colleagues from the government. And there is much to learn from the private sector and also from those who we just recognize for their outstanding contribution in UX from within the government as well. What happens in a user journey today, it was just mentioned, 73% of the user journeys were starting on a mobile phone. We had an occasion to take a look recently on say, UIDAI itself, one of the charges I hold, and UIDAI's app is rated pretty low by the users, and it's about 90% of my journeys all go to the, they all go to the website, and the majority of them all begin on a mobile phone rather than on an app. Clearly, there's much to be done there. All the journeys, if you go to an Amazon or something else, all effort is there on that platform to ensure that not only do you come for what you've come for, but you go back with so much more. You fill your shopping cart. And when we go to a government website, that effort itself, that thought is entirely missing. You've come to a ministry, you've come for a purpose like a citizen service, there is a menu, you transact your service and you go back. That is not how the world is thought of today. That is not how delivery is to be thought of today. If a person has digitally visited, it should be every effort that they are enabled to come again and to take so much more than what they have come for, and to not even have to initiate that journey again on their part, if we know and understand them well enough, and if they, as Devjani ji very importantly said, they trust us, that we will treat them well and we will not misuse their trust, and we shall be helpful. It should set in motion a virtuous cycle where journeys could be initiated at either end. Government departments as service providers can directly reach out. And that begins with personalization, with knowing your individual and offering end-to-end digital journeys. A lot of government transactions require an individual to be authenticated. That journey, fortunately, has become very easy with the launch of face authentication, which now has become effectively deviceless. You blink your eyelids and you are authenticated as who you are. And of course, UPI has made payments this thing. So a lot of things which required a transaction no longer required one. The problem with authentication without face auth was, and I'm talking at population scale, of course, the better off people who have various other means of authentication, but when government always worries about population scale. And that's the opportunity of our digital marketplace, including in government services out there. We have the same problem that we had at card acceptance. I remember back in 16, 17, when demonetization happened, I was in a different role and our job was to enable digital payments, and the whole problem was points of acceptance. You could not do a transaction with a bank unless you had a point of acceptance. And similarly, you can't do a transaction for anything worthwhile with governments unless you have a point of acceptance. For that, you need, you had a reliable thing. Of course, you had mobile, but mobile didn't really verify the identity. If it was a risky transaction, it verified the device. There was a certain risk in the transaction, but biometric is the gold standard in authentication, and we didn't have one. You had to have a device. Once you don't have a device, if you can do it on your own device, like with FaceAuth now, then the whole world becomes very different. The transaction need not begin and end at a point of acceptance. It can happen truly anytime, anywhere, which is truly a digital journey. So if it can begin anytime, anywhere, and if I know your needs, I can also, and if you trust me, I can initiate a transaction suo motu. If I truly respect your authorizations, your willingness to entrust your data, your privacy, I need not any longer offer plain vanilla journeys, one size fits all. If somebody is willing to share their GPS, they are willing to share more, I should be able to offer them so much more. And I should be very transparent about it, and I should allow for granular consent. So if you go to DigiYatra, well, there is a clear commitment that in 24 hours, your image will no longer be stored. So if we are very transparent about what would be possible, what would not be possible, I can not only issue somebody, say, for an entrance examination, an admit card, but also tell them, okay, I shall guide you to your the exam center also, or exam having been conducted. I can also tell you when your results are out. I can also tell you, okay, you have taken my result. Do you also, even though I am not the department doing that, would you like to port it and make it accessible into your DigiLocker? Those are what user journeys are all about. Government has traditionally always thought of things as episodic transactions because governments, being population scale, had to be organized for delivery into verticals, into state and central government, departments and layered levels within that. But government as a whole is one. Citizen at the end of it is one. And today technology enables us to make it a single platform for the government, for a ministry, for a state, and similarly for the user. We need to begin thinking and looking at problems differently. We don't need 10 apps. We need one single digital experience, one single digital interface, one single sign-on, one way of authenticating FaceAuth, not different UXs. You go to each website, each app, and learn its own grammar and lexicon and ways of doing things differently. It should be intuitive, it should be simple, it should be respecting of my privacy and security needs, and it should anticipate those. And if I do that, I can do the whole delivery business very, very differently. And not only the government, I think there is a whole big opportunity out there. The unique thing about the whole Indian experience where the West was worried about the digital divide, and we said everything for everybody, it's population scale, and it is by policy and by design. And that really takes you to population scale ecosystems, and when your population scale ecosystems and government as the policy orchestrator of all that, the enabler of all that, there is equal space there for public and private sector. There is no need for delivery to happen only on public platforms or on private platforms. There is scope for a lot of partnerships out there. if there is a Department of Health which is trying to promote health cover, health insurance, why is it that we think of delivering only the government health products through that platform? Why is it that we not build a choice there? Because the opportunity there for the user is the following. I mean, I come here, I shop, I connect, and I get to know so much more. So similarly, apps, trying to get each person to download a separate app, why is that really necessary? I don't really need that. I can offer APIs, I can find partnerships. This is what the market does best. This is what the private sector has been successfully doing, because end of the day, what is it? It's a distribution channel. And distribution channels have network effects. The larger your network, the more successful your delivery would be. And forget government or this old talk about brick and mortar delivery systems. The citizen or the user is no longer willing to go the brick and mortar route. So if government is to deliver and government is to know its users, then government has to find digital ways of outreach. And there is ample scope for public-private partnerships in this. For those of you who are here from ministries and departments, I would also say that please start knowing your customer, start gathering feedback, create your own dashboards, analytics are available. Your tech teams is having a look, start doing some deeper dives. You will learn many useful things. You can create many more things, and that would be so satisfying. And think of everything that you do in the government as digital first, and that part of digital first is UX is integral to it. There is a lot to learn in today's workshop and later, and there is a lot to learn and also do together amongst everybody who's present here. I compliment Sanket and the entire team, and Maigav Akash is not here, on organizing this, taking this initiative, creating these exemplars of 100 applications, and in particular the successful ones to show what is really possible. The integration of language interfaces, which truly removes all challenges, whether by language or the device man-machine interface, whatever is comfortable, like Devjani he said, it's a wonderful experience for everybody, including for the providers of services, whether public or private. So thank you all of you for listening patiently to me. Wish you all the best.